Hello, welcome to another episode here on the BJ Show podcast. Today we got our very special guest, so let's go live to Blackwood Community Centre, because what a show we got. This guest is just amazing. So let's welcome and go live to Blackwood Community Centre. Welcome to the Blackwood Community Centre, and before we get on to today's guests, we'd like to thank you to Mitchell Council and their support of me hosting these podcast sessions. And look, today's guest is part of the amazing part of football program at the Morphettville Football Club in a suburb in Adelaide, and I would like to introduce to a fella named John. Mate, welcome.
Thank you, Ben. It's just great to be here with you.
So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Ben. I've been retired from the workforce for 10 years now, and I've been volunteering all that time. And it's one of the best things, I think it's the best thing I've ever done. And as you mentioned, I'm involved with the Morphettville Park Football and Cricket Club. And I have set up a program called Rue Squad. Now, Morphettville Park, the Kangaroos, so we called our program the Rue Squad. So I've been involved with that now for about 4 years, and I'm coordinator of that. It's all voluntary. We have coaches, we have coordinators, and I'm involved with that. Now, did you want me to expand more on that now, or just tell you a little bit more about myself?
A little bit about yourself.
Okay. I've lived in the City of Mitchum area for 38 years. Wife, I have a son with Down syndrome, Eugene, and he's a member at Morphettville Park Club. So I volunteer also with the City of Mitchum on Mondays and Wednesdays doing a range of things, and that's where we met, Ben. So it's great to be with you. And my interests are very much sport, football and cricket, and really all sport. I like to travel a lot, and I like to potter around home, do a bit of gardening and maintenance and things like that. And I do like going out dining and things like that, as you do. I had lunch at the Belair Hotel, and that was very nice. So yeah, I've got a pretty good lifestyle these days as in retirement. So that's a bit about me.
Sounds quite busy since you retired and 10 years out of. Now, before we get into that volunteer part, what did you do for a job?
I had an interesting career. I started out in finance and banking, and I soon realised it probably wasn't my best choice in a career. And I moved into other areas, including industrial relations. And I did go into the government working in treasury. I'm a slow learner, and I decided that didn't suit me much either. So I went back and studied a bit more, and I ended up moving into agriculture and horticulture, and I still worked in the government there, and I worked for a couple of politicians in the ministers for agriculture. And yeah, that's where my career travelled. So a little bit of private sector, a little bit of public sector work in finance and also in agriculture and in industrial relations. So I had some interesting.
Horticulture means like gardening's been.
Yes.
Basically, you said about yourself is that's a big, strong, big thing. I'm not a big fan of gardening, and I've been living in like just not far, like part of City Mitchum for 22 years now, John. So,
Right.
so yeah. So moving on, like how long have you volunteered with the City of Mitchum?
10 years now, Ben, and when I retired, there was a bit of work to do at home, a bit of painting and maintenance and things like that. Well, in the first few months, I'd finished that off, or so I told my wife I'd finished that off anyway, the painting. And then I was at a bit of a loose end, and wanted to give back something to the community. And I went and spoke to the City of Mitchum and to their volunteer manager. And I was put on to a role which was really good down at the Mitcham Cultural Village. And yeah, that's been going on for 10 years. With the opening of the Tiwu Kamanga here at the Blackwood Community Centre, I took a big interest in this place because it's just such a nice place to be. And I was offered a voluntary role here as well. And on Mondays and every second Wednesday, I come up here and assist. And I think I'm regarded as a bit of a jack of all trades where anything and everything that needs to be done, I just help out with, Ben. So you meet a lot of people, how I met you,
Yes.
and it's really, I love meeting people and helping out. It really suits my lifestyle.
What sort of volunteer roles have you done? It's more like basically you have told in the other question as well.
Yeah, I have. And look at it, as I said, it involves a lot of things. It might even helping to organise events that the council might have and volunteering on those days, or it might be if there's a function on here at Blackwood or down at Mitcham, helping set up for those functions, coordinating with the people who are organising these functions, what help they need, tables, chairs, settings, provision of food or drinks, or so it's really helping people utilise the services of the council here at Blackwood and also at Mitcham. And it's very community focused in that way.
Yeah, so I always, since this building upgraded, I used to go to the other library just down the road on Main Road, and it was very small. And I think the only community centre actually has high rooms. You don't have a community centre with high rooms. So this is how much, and it's not far from home. So moving on to our next question. So you just mentioned you're part of the Rue Squad. So can you tell me a bit about that? Even you mention it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was one night I was with my son Eugene at the club, at the Morphettville Park Club. And Thursday nights, it's sort of club night. If it's cricket or football season, the clubs are training. So the players come in for a drink and some food after training. So the club puts on meals. So I was there on a Thursday night with my son, and one of the players in the women's league, her name is Charlotte. Her brother is a friend of my son's, and he has Down syndrome too. And what Charlotte and I were talking with our my son and her brother, and we're watching the footballers run around the oval, and we said to each other, "Why can't we start up some training for our guys?" So it started from that, and we put some notes together about forming a team, call it a team, and we immediately fell upon the name of Rue Squad. That just hit us straight away. And it was based on people living with a disability to have access to some good training and skills development, and basically coming along one night a week and having fun, running around, kicking the footy, learning the skills of football, marking, handball, tackling, things like that, kicking. Of course, kicking for goal is always the favourite item at the end of the training session. We have 15 minutes goal kicking practice, and that they love it. So we started that. Charlotte's brother and my son, Jack and Eugene, were the first two members. So the first night we had training, it was the two of them. So we just started with two, but then we put word out, flyers out and some notices online and things like that through Facebook and that. And before long we got about 15 to 18 people registering and coming along. And that's grown to about 20, 22 in the football season. Cricket's a little bit less, with about 16 in the cricket season. So then we had to go on the lookout to find some coaches, and we found a ready supply of people that were pretty good at coaching, that had experience and volunteered. So we've got a good selection of coaches. And of course, when our participants come along, quite often it might be with a family member or a carer, and some of those are very interested in participating as coaches and assistants as well. Everyone who has a coaching role has to have police clearance, of course, and that's all done in accordance with the rules. But the whole setup is based volunteering. And every week in winter, we do football training. We have a mid-season break, just like the footballers do, and we have an end of season function as well to celebrate the year. And the thing that I really love about it is the fact that the participants get away from their screens at home or their televisions, come and run around and have fun and make friends, and they learn some good skills in fitness and fun and football. And it's most rewarding, Ben, in what we do. And the feedback we get is really good, that they enjoy the program. At this stage, we haven't got a team that participates in matches, and we're still at the stage of skill development through training. Maybe a team will come down the track later on, but not at the moment.
Yeah, I understand because it is a contact sport, so you got to be prepared to, play in the rules as well. But it's not like the Sanford, the SANFL, or the AFL level. It's more like it's think of a bear hug kind of thing.
Yeah, we have a tackle bag, and that is very popular. They run at the tackle
Oh,
bag.
and you got to be confident as well. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
don't be afraid to pick up the footy.
yeah.
You know,
Bump the tackle bag
yes,
and pick up the football and handball it on to your teammate. They
yes.
they love that section of the program, and also I didn't mention that in the first instance when we set up, I went to the president of the club and spoke to the president's secretary as well about the formation of Rue Squad, and they were so supportive of the program. And they said, we can use their facility for free, we can use their equipment, and so on. But I was lucky enough to apply to the City of Marion for a grant, and we got a grant. So we were able to buy all our. So we are self sufficient with equipment, both for football and cricket. And so, yeah, we have our own equipment that's locked away, and we use our own equipment. So footballs, tackle bags, goalposts, witches' hats, things like that football clubs use in their
Yes.
training programs.
Moving on. So, before we wrap it up from today's, and how much and what do you enjoy about like being part of running the program of the Rouge Squad?
Oh, look, I think the joy it gives, not just to me, but to the participants themselves and their families and their carers, when they see participants just really having a red hot go at playing footy, learning new skills, and just the enjoyment they get from it and the skill development. I mean, some of our players, I'll be honest, 3 or 4 years ago when they started, they couldn't kick a football, they couldn't handball. Now they're very, very good at it. And just to see that development in their skills is wonderful, but also they've made friends, and some of them now socialise outside of Rue Squad, and that's really good. That's what gives me the most enjoyment.
So, the last question, and why should people volunteer with the City of Mitchum?
Oh, I think the last 10 years for me has just been really, really good. When I first spoke to them, I was unsure about what I would do or where I would do it, but I had a long talk with the manager of Volunteers, Lynn, and she put me in the right direction in community service. And that's really where I've been, and I've really enjoyed that. So there's lots of options with City of Mitchum with volunteering. You can do just about anything and everything. And there's a whole range of areas that volunteer programs exist within the council, and they are most welcoming. And the staff that I've worked with at the City of Mitchum have just been fantastic to work with, and they're so supportive and really good people. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your time today, John, and sharing a little bit about volunteering and how much is important, and then you know running a program with the Rue Squad. Something tells me they're giving it a go and they're exciting. And from two people from 20, it's just a huge number, and that's a team you put together. So that's having fun, and that's all about. And I've been playing for 5 years, and I've almost made 70 games for Kenilworth in four. This will be the fourth grand final in 5 years, which is very unusual. And doesn't matter what level it is. I've won back to back and lost back to back. So,
Yes,
so it's harder to lose by 1 point than 100 points. More painful by 1 point. And I'm looking forward to another grand final. Not sure where, between Nord or Woodville, which Woodville is big part of this inclusive comp. So, and the SANFL has taken on board since when I started,
yeah.
basically their second year. So we've had five teams for so long, then we added six, then seven, now eight. So more teams are more interested of requiring to be part of it. And I know there's Goodwood are very strong with their inclusive as well. Kenilworth, Christie's Beach are very, very strong as well, which if you have an inclusive team, you got to be a big part and support and watch them play. If you just play and then leave, you don't know what you're missing. And they have a state team as well, which is no different than you watch the legends of in the SANFL. We watch them all the time, but we don't know, oh, there is an inclusive state team. They go to, play in Queensland in October. It's very hot, but they give it all. Same thing with the Ironburge. I've been part of that 3 times. I've done Special Olympics. It's not about winning the game. No one likes to lose, but you got to move on. It is frustrating when we lose, but when you win, don't overdo it. That's what I've learned. Don't be all, and then you said something nasty, you got to switch on.
I think the beauty of sport, and very much so football, I've always believed that it brings out the best in, and it really gives people a chance to be their best and to mix with other people and experience, as you said, the joys of winning and the experience of losing as well, and learning to deal with both in a responsible manner, as you say, celebrating the right way, not the wrong way.
Right.
And when you lose, yes, you're disappointed, but you take that on board, and next time we're going to do better. And it's about improvement as well. So I've always been a great believer that sport is a great leveller in society, and it delivers so many enjoyable experiences for people who participate in sport. And it's one of my great loves.
It's a common thing about no matter what sport, you learn from a loss. And the most important, I went to the international final and the quarterfinal final, and Nord finished fifth. Good win against Port Adelaide, and the amazing that we took on Central District and they beat us during the year. But that doesn't, yes, you win during the year, but all that matters is you win the last game
Mm.
and it's finals.
And what a good young side Centrals are too.
Yeah.
And that was, I thought Centrals might win that match, Ben,
Mhm.
but obviously you were confident from the start.
Yeah, well, and something I've actually learned, yes, I'm part of the cheer squad, and Glenelg are a very strong cheer squad, and Sturt, because they're playing well. But if your team's not performing, like West Adelaide
Yeah.
and South Adelaide
Yes.
and Woodville, they not have their strong base cheer squad.
Yeah.
Even you have 3, 4 people in a cheer squad supporting your team. And I went to the Nord West Adelaide game. It was actually they do bingo at West Adelaide Footy Club, and I told Mum, oh look, I'm going to watch the game, and Nord actually won in both. But I think overall, like the with the, because I'm doing a bit of a like overall view from the 16s, 18s, and reserves, and under 16s have a second chance. They lost against Centrals and back kicking on the Friday night. So that's recently. So, but it's good to see young kids playing, juniors. And hopefully they'll play in a league. To, it's better. I've always think common in any team. The weak team can beat the strong team, and it really good example. West Coast almost beat the strong team, and it's common. The first time if West Coast actually defeated Adelaide Crows, it was the first time in 19 years that Collingwood beaten West Coast, and that happened. So break records of all time. Don't ever expect to come in. We got this win. West Coast will just come absolute, and and I said this in several times. I'll give them credit. That's how you pressure the ball. They brought the heat, and it wasn't hard football. The hard football is not by player. It's actually picking up the footy, and Adelaide had to work. I did in North Melbourne. They put pressure, and I didn't like North Melbourne back in the 90s if I was a child, but I like them now because they took on, and every time Adelaide and North Melbourne play at Marble or Etihad or Telstra, it's always high scoring. It's so it doesn't matter how North Melbourne they didn't have their best player forward. Nick Larkey was on the sideline, and look, they almost beat Adelaide. See, with no Bushali, no Bacon, and Adelaide can still win. You don't have to rely on those players, and that's what 2017 amazed me. I think this is a better team than 2017 in a lot of ways because we're more ready. We got a really good coach, in my opinion, and I think I'm not confident to make the grand final because I'm a bit more mature in a way. I know what's like, but Adelaide, yeah, even Adelaide are favourites. It doesn't mean they're going to win. And Collingwood will just be in their football. Adelaide will be in their football. It'll be a close game, but I'm hoping Adelaide should win this game. I think they'll have better mindset. You never know what can happen. It's finals.
It is, and you'd almost have to say that with finals, every game is a 50-50 game. I mean, how do you determine who is the favoured team to win? I'm not sure you can in finals because it's a different type of football. And I just want to say something else about the AFL. The AFL comes in for a lot of criticism sometimes about various issues in the league. Look, and I understand that, but when I've got to say, football's in a really good place at the moment because our state league is doing pretty well. I noticed at Unley Oval the other week there were 5,500 people at a home game for Sturt in Sandford, and that's a really healthy sign. And then we look at the women's league that has started up throughout the AFL at AFL level, Sandford level, and club level. That is just thriving so much, the women's league. And now, of course, we have the inclusion programs, which are, as you said, at Kenilworth, it's just taking off so well. With our Rue Squad program, the inclusion programs are just doing really, really well and expanding. So I think football, in general terms, is really in a good place at the moment.
So anyway, we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you so much, John, for your time, and yeah, and thank you very much to the Blackwood community and their support in running this program, and the City of Mitchum as well. So thank you, John, once again.
Thank you very much, Ben, and good luck for you and your red legs.
No worries. So all right, thank you so much. BJ shows out. Cheers.